Ladies and gentlemen, and now for the opening plenary of this event, we have the kind presence of our chief guest, Mr. Muhammad Atiqul Islam, Honorable Mayor, Dhaka North City Corporation and former President of BGMEA. We also have our guest of honor, Mr. Sabir Hussain Chaudhry MP, Chairman, Parliament Standing Committee on Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. We also have Her Excellency Anne van Leeuwen, Honorable Ambassador, Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Bangladesh, Mr. Edimon Ginting, Country Director, Bangladesh Resident Mission, Asian Development Bank, Dr. Bernard Spanier, Deputy Head of Delegation, Delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh, Ms. Laila Ertur, Head of Sustainability, H&M Group, and Mr. Mostafizuddin, Founder and CEO of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. I would like to request our honored speakers to come to the dais to take their seats, please. Requesting our chief guest, Mr. Muhammad Atiqul Islam, to please come up. Requesting Mr. Sabir Hussain Chaudhry MP, Her Excellency Anne van Leeuwen, Mr. Edimon Ginting, Dr. Bernard Spanier, Ms. Laila Ertur, and Mr. Mostafizuddin to please come up. Now I would like to request Mr. Mostafizuddin, Founder and CEO of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, to please come up and give the welcome speech for Bangladesh Circular Economy Summit 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a warm welcome to all of you for the first ever Bangladesh Circular Economy Summit. I would like to congratulate all of you who are present in this room. You all are a part of the history because today we start the journey into circular economy. I would also like to convey my gracious thanks and gratitude to Mr. Atiqul Islam, Honorable Mayor of Dhaka City Corporation, Mr. Sabir Hussain Chaudhry MP, convoy of Honorable Prime Minister, People's Republic of Bangladesh for Environment and Climate Change. Let's put a big hand for him. Sir, we must congratulate you for that, and we are equally proud of that, because last time when we made the Sustainable Apparel Forum, you was with us. I'm equally pleasure, happy, and grateful to you. I'm also delighted and thankful to Mr. Anne van Leeuwen, the Ambassador of Netherlands in Bangladesh, Dr. Bernd Spanier, for Deputy Head of European Union Delegations of Bangladesh, Mr. A.D. Ginting, Director of Asia Development Bank, Regional Bangladesh, and Ms. Laila Ertur from H&M Group. Thank you so much. Your gracious presence means a lot for all of us. Before going to the much details, today we have a lot of experts from 8 countries to speak about the circular economy. But before starting the conference, I would like to tell all of you a little bit journey of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. I'm sure all the familiar faces you must know about Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, but what you must know, what you must don't know, the journey of circularity in Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. 2017, we are the first organization in Bangladesh who made a waste mapping and evaluate the pre-consumer waste in Bangladesh. 2018, we made a conference on circularity. In Bangladesh Denim Expo, we arranged several seminars, conference, and workshop on circularity. I would like to show a little video of that conference of 2018.
In the glorious journey of the world of blue, Bangladesh has made incredible advancement while unleashing the huge potential of denim industry. Bangladesh Denim Expo sets forth in celebration of this successful feat. The 10th edition of Bangladesh Denim Expo focused on circularity for bringing positive changes in the whole denim supply chain. It hosted 5 seminars on the pressing issues of denim industry, focusing on the central theme of circularity. The panel discussions were attended by various experts from home and abroad. The Trend Zone exhibited some phenomenal circular innovations and sustainable development techniques. Even the stalls were made of repurposed fabric rolls, which itself is a unique example of circularity and its diverse benefits. Join us next time.
So our journey to circularity keep continuing. You will be happy to know that after this event, 2019, we had started a project on circularity with P4G, and our partner of that project is NVO and many other organizations. So our project is still keep on continue. Under this project, we will do policy advocacy. We will be establishing a sorting center, compliance sorting center, and our end goal is establishing a recycling plant. All of you must be aware of that. Bangladesh is producing 400,000 of metric ton of pre-consumer waste, and out of that, we only recycle 5%, only 5%, and 35% we use in the boiler for incinerated, and 60% is going out of Bangladesh, and we often import that to Bangladesh. So our end goal of this project, what we are doing is establishing a recycling plant in Bangladesh. I would like to say that this event is not a singular event. Be sure about it. We had already announced the date of next event, 12 June. We had made a planning how we will promote circularity next 1 year. And you will be happy to know, due to the lack of time and knowledge of this event, this time we could not able to cover plastic circularity, agriculture in circularity, chemical circularity, construction circularity. We could not able to add, but be sure that that will be added in our next edition. And we have a series of event plan next 12 months, which conclude workshop, hackathon, startup, design and innovation training, and also we will be facilitate the policy dialogue this 1 year. So please stay tuned in our website and social media. You will be keep on updating on that. We have a lot of plan, we have a lot of vision, but vision need to be translated into the action. And that is only possible when we have the proper support of our government. We have among us 2 important persons from the government, and I cordially request them to help our private sector, businesses, research firm, development partner organization to promote circularity in Bangladesh. There are various ways how they can help us to do that. You all may be aware, the first and important thing is the policy support. We need policy support from the government. Without the government policy support, we will not be able to do it. We are not allowed to bring post-consumer waste import-free, duty-free in Bangladesh. Honorable sirs, we need help in that area from you. We need help in financing. You all know that recycling and this kind of technology is very costly. It's not have the regular business return. It takes more than 10 to 12 years. Sir, we need from you policy support on this financing. We have among us also Honorable Mayor, Mr. Atikur Islam, for the Dhaka City Corporation. We will urge him to help us to establish more and more sorting center in Bangladesh. Sir, we need more and more training, development, workshop, awareness on circularity. You all had built Bangladesh a global position, a leader in various areas. With your help, we would also like to be a leader in circularity. My last point will be, government will not do anything for us or everything for us. We all have a shared responsibility. You all sitting in this room, you have a responsibility to do. Please, we should not expect government will do everything, private sector do everything, brand will do everything, manufacturer will do everything. Not like that. We all have a shared responsibility. And from our shared responsibility, I will request all of you, please come forward and let's make Bangladesh a leader in circularity. There is a huge potentiality on that. We could be the first country to be leader in circularity. Finally, I would like to say thank you to honorable speakers who fly from far away. Just to let you know, for your information, many of our speakers yesterday night arrived from different part of the world, and they will be leaving tonight. So let's put a big clap for our honorable speakers for that. I would also like to thank to our partners. Without their support, this event would never able to materialize for us. Lord's Foundation, P4G, H&M Group, Embassy of Netherlands, and GIZ. I'm equally grateful and thankful for your support. And finally, I would like to congratulate my team who had worked very hard for this summit. And last 11 months, we've been working hard to make it happen. I would like to remember all of you that this summit is not like any other program we are doing. We are also new in this summit. We need to learn a lot of things. So the team had put a tremendous lot of effort, including Sandra, Morten, and all of Farooq, Faisal, and all the team. I'm very thankful and proud for all of you. Thank you to everyone. Thanks, and let's hope we will have a wonderful journey together to transform Bangladesh into a circular country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mostafizuddin, for your welcome speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a look at the 9 years journey of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. Let's take a look at the video. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to request Mr. Muhammad Atikul Islam, Honorable Mayor of Dhaka North City Corporation and former President of BGMEA, to please come up and say a few words on this occasion.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time happening the Bangladesh Circular Economy Summit 2023. It is arranged by Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. Of course, behind the man, behind the show, Mr. Mustafiz. Give a clap for him to arranging such a, this is the first time ever in Bangladesh for Bangladesh Circular Economy Summit. And today's here is a special guest, our very close, my brother, elder brother, a special envoy of Honorable Prime Minister for Environment and Climate Change and Standing Committee of Parliament for Environment as well. His Excellencies, representative from different agencies, Laila from H&M, Edmond Greting from Country Director, Asian Development Bank, Ben Spencer, Deputy Head of Delegations, His Excellencies from Denmark, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and the journalists as well. Yeah, my background, as you mentioned, that former president of BGMEA, I started my career since 1986, and till now, we are involved for this garments industry, textiles, and now I am adding the one responsibility being a city mayor of Dhaka North. So there are challenges from both sides. And with that challenges, today's the circular economy is very much needed in our sector as well. As we know that the three R's are very important: reduce, reuse, and the recycling. And top of that, another one things are coming up. That's called the EPR, Extended Producer Responsibilities. That's a very important now. We have to talk about the extended producer responsibility. We have to come out with extend our hand to cooperate with the different sectors, with the factories, with the brands, with the government. So this, we need to work this kind of EPR. And this is very much related with the extended producer responsibility with the circular economy. Yes, we have a lot of huge jute, huge wastage. So how we can make this kind of circular economy with the latest technology, with the latest experience. So those who are sitting in the dais and in front of the audience as well, we know that under this roof, if we can work together, definitely we can succeed to make this kind of economic, the viability of the circular economy. As you know that cutting waste, waste from polybag, waste from button, waste from cartoon, waste from the dyes chemical. There's a lot of countries they did have already the solution. So I believe that with the expertise and after having this kind of session today, we can come out a solution. The solution for the circular economy. Solution to save the world. Solution to save from this kind of climate change. Today, geographically, Bangladesh is a very vulnerable country. Mr. Saber Bhai, he is working too hard about the environment and climate change. For the Dhaka city, every day, 2,000 people are coming for the displacement. Every day. So we cannot say no. We have a climate change due to the sea level is going up, erosion, and of course the other climate change as well. And they are all coming in the Dhaka city. And being a city mayor, I cannot say no to them. So we have to give them the well-being, dignity, and safety. We have to ensure to them. For ensuring the well-being, dignity, and safety, it is same to our workers and same to the cities, those who are coming from the displacement and staying in my city as well. And you will know that I declared few days back For save this kind Dhaka city for the heat island, the Dhaka North City Corporation declared 200,000 trees for next 2 years. Already we are working on that. And when we are giving the birth registration for a new child, newborn baby, we are giving the one sapling also for their family. So after 10 years, the child can grow up and they can get the oxygen also, which they are doing this kind of from their sapling as well. Yeah, top of that, I'm very sorry that I'm very interested to come here because when Mustafiz was saying to me, but I just want to disclose one thing that today I have a meeting for the circular economy. This is the first time history in Bangladesh. The Dhaka North City Corporation is going to set up the first time in the history in Bangladesh, the waste to energy. And it is going to 42.5 megawatt of the waste to energy. That was our dream. This dream is from our Honorable Prime Minister. And the Amin Bazar landfill is the place where we are doing the landfill, but landfill is very much question mark. There is a lot of methane and other gas as well, carbon dioxide. So there's a big challenge. And this is the first time we are going to set up this kind of waste to energy. We are going to give only the waste. And this waste to energy, I like to give a thanks to the Power Ministry as well. We are going to supply the national grid, and from national grid they are going to buy. And for that one, we have a meeting with all the ministry level today at 10:30. But I will request Mustafiz that you are expert. The Dhaka North City Corporation wants to make this kind of hackathon and out-of-the-box challenges. I will request Mustafiz, please come forward, and Dhaka North City Corporation, and with the help of Mustafiz, that Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, we can share this kind of first time hackathon we can do as well. We want to make the innovation lab also in our city. That's very much needed. So this kind of innovation lab, hackathon, I really want to do that. And top of that, I just want to say, all the brands, please come forward. As you know that Bangladesh is very much a good position last few decades, especially the 5 Ps are very important. All the brands are here, H&M is here as well. The number 1 P is the people. We have a very good force of the people. This is the first P. Another P, that's called the place. We have a very safer place. All the buildings are compliance. All the factories are compliance. The platinum rated factories, highest in the world in Bangladesh as well. So it's a very safer place. And the third P is the power. Though at this moment we have disrupted of the power, but I'm telling you, under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, yes, she has given the 100% power to everywhere in Bangladesh and the factories as well. Though at this moment, due to the sanction and other things, we are having the problem. But so people, place, power, and another is the port. Our Chittagong port has development very fast, and other port as well. And the last P is very important, that's called the politics. So that is also very much stable. So if you consider the people, place, power, port, and the politics, I must say Bangladesh is the best from all over the world. So please come to Bangladesh and do investment, and we can ensure that you can make a good business with Bangladesh and other countries as well. Thank you very much. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor. Now I would like to request Mr. Sabir Hossain Chaudhry, MP, Chairman of Parliamentary Standing Committee on Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, to please come up and say a few words on this occasion.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. Although he has just gone out to escort the Honorable Mayor of Dhaka, let me start by thanking Mr. Mustafiz for this initiative. And you know, this is something that we see around the world, especially nowadays when it comes to environment, sustainability. The private sector is ahead of the game. And to be very candid, governments are often trying to play catch-up. So I think here also we have the first summit on a circular economy in Bangladesh being done by Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. And so I would wish to acknowledge my thanks and gratitude to them. We have a number of distinguished panelists, excellencies, and all of you, all protocols observed. Let me first preface my remarks by making two important points. First is that in terms of the aspiration and the policy of the government of Bangladesh, we are looking to make the transition from a linear to a circular economy. So the traditional model of taking, making, and wasting is something that we are trying to move away from, where we go into a circular economy. And to add to the 3 R's that the Honorable Mayor talked about, I would put 1 hour at the beginning and 1 at the end, a total of 5 hours. So I would put refuse as the first R, and that's where consumers come in. So once they refuse, it becomes part of the 5 R. And other is, of course, redesigning and repurposing. So this is where the government of Bangladesh would like to be in. And the Honorable Prime Minister is very clear. Her vision is that Bangladesh has to be a leader in terms of global thought and action when it comes to responding to climate change as well as promoting sustainability. And if you look at the world today, we call it a world where we are in a situation of polycrisis, more than one crisis. So we have climate change, we have loss of biodiversity, and we have pollution and explosion in use of plastics. And there are many responses to that, but the one common response that you have in all of them is making the transition to a circular economy. I think what is also important at the same time is that when we are trying to deep dive into it in the context of Bangladesh and identify what is the segment, what is the sector that we should engage in, obviously the apparel sector stands out, not just in terms of our contribution to the GDP, 11%. 82% of our exports are driven by this sector. And there is a 4 million employment potential, not potential, actual, of which 65% are women. So the growth, the expansion, the sustainability of the textile industry is not just of economic importance to Bangladesh, but the gender empowerment is also something that we look for. So this would be one very potential area for us to engage in. And we know that globally, the fast fashion industry, in terms of emissions, in terms of how we are producing items, this is an area that has already been targeted. If you're looking at business as usual, the emissions are going to grow by 50% between now and 2050. The amount of materials we use is also going to increase. So whether it is water, whether it is waste, whether it is electricity, because it is very water intensive. How much water does it need to produce 1 kilo of cotton? So if you look at all of those things, this is, of course, a very important part. And Bangladesh has the Department of Environment has announced the solid management rules. We are talking about EPR. But I feel what is now a very different mindset in the context of Bangladesh is the willingness of the government to engage with the industry. Of course, the problem is emanating from the industry, but we would like to see industry as part of the solution and not just creating the problem. So how do we structure that partnership becomes very, very important. And also, of course, important is we shouldn't just be talking about sustainability because we are concerned about the environment. The business case for sustainability must be very strong. So we have to look beyond CSR, not just corporate social responsibility, You are a major international brand, so it's good for your PR that you're doing something for the environment. No. This has to make strong commercial sense. And for it to make very strong commercial sense, not only your cost of production, but also the revenues that you get from it. So I'm glad that we have brands like H&M here, because they have a very important role to play. It is absolutely right, appropriate, that in the global context, you are going to demand sustainability from the industry in Bangladesh. And you are going to push the industry. That is also fine. But then when it comes to the price that you pay for the garments that we produce, there has to be a recognition of that also. So what is the premium that the textile apparel industry in Bangladesh is going to get by making this switch to sustainability? Because if that doesn't happen, then you're actually not incentivizing. I mean, I have said this many times before, and I'll say it again. The price that Bangladeshi exporters get for the garments that they export, in context of the price that the final consumer pays, what does Bangladesh get? If you are selling something for $10, maybe we get $1.7. So how can we continue to innovate? How can we continue to invest in sustainability when the returns that we get don't actually justify? Look at the number of lead industries in Bangladesh who have made the transition to green. Are they getting a premium for their products? How much more money are they earning? So these are very fundamental questions. That is why the point that Mustafiz was making is absolutely right. You know, this is a partnership. There is a demand side, there is a supply side, and we all need to come together. And I'm glad that brands such as H&M are coming forward. We are getting support from our development partners. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Holland is with us. Germany is also a very important development partner. So let us see if we can make Bangladesh a global model. And Bangladesh has, if you look at all of the challenges that we confront, whether it is in the context of climate change, the community-based adaptation that we have at the local level, or the contributions that Bangladesh makes as an international citizen to global peacekeeping, what we have done in terms of lifting people out of poverty, how we are learning to adapt with the impacts of climate change. Bangladesh is a role model. And we also want to be a role model when it comes to sustainability. We also want to be an aspirational role model when it comes to making the transition to a circular economy. That's an area where Bangladesh can also lead the world. And for that, as I've said, we need partnerships. I'm very happy that the Department of Environment under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is actually engaging with the private sector. We have major local companies, multinationals, whether it's Unilever, it is Pran or Coke or Pepsi. We are talking to them to see how we can reduce plastic. We are saying the first principle should be no plastic. Then we are saying less plastic. And then we are saying better plastic. And in terms of policy assistance, the industry needs to reach out to us also. Let us know what is the support you need. Be very specific. This is the policy support we need. This is the fiscal support we need. One of the things that we are thinking about is when it comes to recycling, can we say that all plastic products made in Bangladesh must use 60% of recycled material? That would be one way of encouraging the sector. So we are open. We want to incentivize, because this is, when we talk about climate change, it's not just something that's happening or will happen in 10 years. It's an existential challenge that we face today. It's not something that will happen in the distant future. And that's why the need for global solidarity and partnerships is so very important. We refer to Bangladesh as a vulnerable country now, but it's a question of time. It's a question of when and not if, as to when all other countries in the world are going to be vulnerable if we don't respond to the challenge of climate change, if we don't change our existing patterns of consumption and production. And look at planetary overshoot. Based on how we are consuming resources, natural resources, it's going to take 2 planet Earths at the moment. So how is that sustainable? Our emissions are only 0.4% of the global emissions. The way Bangladesh lives, it is only consuming half of the resources. But the way another country in the West lives, it's going to take 5 planet Earths. So that's planetary overshoot. That's justice. And we have to have this across the chain and across the world. So let me warmly congratulate the organizers, the Apparel Exchange of Bangladesh, for organizing this. This is not just one event where I come and speak and a few of others are going to speak, but let it be the start of a process. Let it be a journey that we start together with a very clear objective. And this is an objective that is going to be good for Bangladesh, and it is going to be good for the world. And I welcome everyone who wants to be on board this journey, and the government of Bangladesh and our Prime Minister, Honorable Sheikh Hasina, as I've said right at the beginning, she wishes to see Bangladesh as a leader. We're not just a victim. We're not just as a receiving end. We have so much to contribute. It's a very exciting story, the story of Bangladesh, and that needs to be told. And you, when you come from overseas, you're not just coming on a parachute visit. Take back that goodwill of Bangladesh and share it with the rest of the world. Talk about the immense potential that we have. Talk about the remarkable resilience of our people. And inshallah, as our father of the nation, Bangabandhu, dreamt, this is going to be a prosperous Bangladesh, a sustainable Bangladesh. And today's event is one small part of that overall jigsaw. I wish you well in your deliberations today. I know it's an exciting day. There are going to be focus sessions. There'll be opportunity for you to interact and exchange thoughts and ideas. And we, of course, as a government, look forward to the inputs that we can take forward and inform and shape our policy accordingly. I wish you excellent deliberations. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, Chirojubi Hok Bangladesh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sabir Hussain Chaudhry MP. Now I'd like to request Her Excellency Anne van Leeuwen, Honorable Ambassador, Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Bangladesh, to please come up for her speech.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I would like to start with thanking Mustafiz for organizing this event. Recently, I was thinking, when I saw you opening remarks, we had that cyclone Mocha, and I was looking at you and I thought, yeah, you are a force of nature as well, kind of a cyclone Mustafiz. The energy that you have and the power that you possess is really remarkable. So it's a joy to be on stage, Bernd, with you, with the representative from HM, Laila, and Edimon from ADB. And it's my pleasure to speak after you, Sabir Chaudhry MP. First of all, congratulations, of course, with your appointment as a special envoy for climate change. I think the Honorable Prime Minister could not have made a better choice than having you in this position. The Netherlands and Bangladesh do have so much in common, and one of the things that we do have in common, of course, is our status as a delta country close to sea, close to rivers, very vulnerable to impact of climate change. And I'm looking forward to working together with you to learn from you in the common case that we are working on, which is, in my book, the most important struggle and theme that we have to address. So looking forward to working with you. And my admiration for your points. The observation that I will be making in the coming minutes are very much in line with your remarks. As I said, I'm the ambassador of the Netherlands. We celebrated the last year 50 years of friendship and cooperation. I'm very happy also to see my friend and counterpart, Ambassador Riyad Hamidullah, my counterpart in The Hague as the ambassador of Bangladesh to the Netherlands, in our midst. We celebrated together our 50 years of friendship and cooperation between the Netherlands and Bangladesh last year. And one of the things that we recognize and cherish when we look back at those 50 years that the Netherlands and Bangladesh have been working together is, in the first place, of course, the incredible, wonderful, amazing journey that Bangladesh has made. Many times when we look back, people quote Henry Kissinger, who just turned 100 years last month, and he's often quoted as referring to Bangladesh as a bottomless basket case. Well, if ever Henry Kissinger was proven wrong, it was about this quote, of course, because the development that Bangladesh has made in the last 50 years since winning the Liberation War is unparalleled. And that's in the first place, of course, thanks to the incredible energy and enterprising spirit and can-do spirit that the people of Bangladesh have. But the RMG sector as such, of course, is a very big contributor to that enormous success of Bangladesh with an impressive economic growth of about 7 to 8% in the last 10 years. So Bangladesh has come a very, very long way in combating poverty and in establishing this success. Again, the RMG sector has to be thanked for that. Now Bangladesh is also on the brink of graduating to a middle-income country. And I feel that that has strong and big implications for the RMG sector in particular, for the whole economy, of course, but the RMG sector as a leader in this country, with being responsible for such a big percentage of the total economic package and the export, is number one in reflecting on what we are going to do. Now we are going to be a middle-income country. And I'm happy to ask your attention for, I'm not going to read the whole thing, it's 15 pages, but last month there was a visit of Mr. Olivier de Schutter, who is the Special Rapporteur of the United Nations, of the Secretary General on poverty and human rights. His report is really worthwhile reading. It's 15 pages, and I'm just going to make a couple of quotes from his report because I find them very pertinent and interesting. He made a research on the RMG sector, what is the status now, and there is a couple of pages in his report with his conclusions. And the Special Rapporteur draws 3 conclusions from the study that he has made on the current condition in the RMG sector. And I'm going to share succinctly the main points. The first conclusion of the Special Rapporteur on poverty is that there is ample room for Bangladeshi RMG suppliers to charge higher prices to their clients and to increase wages even more significantly, taking into account that labor costs represent a small fraction of FOB prices and an even smaller fraction of the prices paid by the end consumer. A second conclusion of the Special Rapporteur is that they will only be able to effectively do so, that is, charge higher prices, thus guaranteeing the right for a living wage and the just and favorable working conditions, if the buyers are held responsible and their purchasing practices are more closely monitored. The buyers, the international brands, are overwhelmingly responsible in this case. Their buying policies have systematically led factory owners in Bangladesh to cut down on expenses, and particularly on wages, or to rely on subcontractors imposing substandard working conditions in order to stay in business. Buyers should assess the impacts of their purchasing practices on the incentives of their suppliers to pay living wages and to ensure just and favorable conditions of work to their workers. And third and finally, the Special Rapporteur, in his remarks about the RMG sector and the future of the RMG sector, states that the government of Bangladesh can support these changes by increasing the minimum wage in the garment sector, as well as in other sectors, through a more comprehensive minimum wage policy to favor a race to the top rather than a race to the bottom of suppliers, rather than tolerating a situation in which suppliers undercut each other's efforts to improve the wages and working conditions of workers by cutting down on cost. Bangladesh, is the final remark, Bangladesh can and must move away from its low wage trap. But long-lasting improvements require that economic incentives and the regulatory framework are aligned. I feel that these are very pertinent observations of the Special Rapporteur of the United Nations. Now, looking forward, of course, and I guess my friend Bernd will address the issue as well of graduation, of Bangladesh to a middle-income country. That will have repercussions, of course, for tariffs and quota, the whole GSP plus discussion that we are having. The final point that I would like to make about it is that so often the graduation and the GSP plus thresholds are perceived as being more of a threat than of an opportunity. And I would like to underline the importance of the GSP plus meeting the standards, ratifying and implementing the 32 odd conventions that are necessary. This is not a kind of corvée, if that's the expression. This is not a work that you have to do à contre-cœur. This is a chance that you have, because it will be better for US factory owners, it will be better for US brands, it will be better for Bangladesh as a country to meet those standards and to get further as a middle-income country with a goal and aim to being a developed country in 2041, as is the policy of the government of Bangladesh. So in final conclusion, I wish you every success in working together as brands, as factories, as non-governmental organizations, as buyers, in working together to help and see to it that the wonderful journey of Bangladesh that we have seen in the last 50 years will continue on a positive way and on the rise. And I'm looking forward to working together with all of you representing the Netherlands here. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. Now I'd like to request Ms. Leila Ertur, Head of Sustainability H&M Group, to please come up for her speech.
Good morning. Good morning. First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Mustafis, organizing this event. I'm truly impressed. I am with the company about 23 years, and I worked and lived in Dhaka between 2006 to 2009. And just seeing this event and participation from government, from our esteemed guests, and of course yourself, is just impressing me. Bangladesh has been developing continuously, and just being today here all together, I think we are witnessing an enormous transformation that Bangladesh is signing off. Thank you very much. Welcome, welcome. H&M Group has been working with sustainability about 3 decades. When we started early 90s, the focus was truly different. What sustainability was about, simple ESG, about factory conditions, worker conditions, kind of climate, little bit environment over there, but that was a true different landscape. What we are looking right now is something else. And we in the group has been working actively to support circularity and climate efforts in multiple streams. We have been working with materials, how we could support innovation for low-impact materials. We also have been supporting low-impact processes. How could we produce textile less resource intensive? And we have been focusing quite a lot. How could we reach our customers to also work with them to understand circular business models? Talking about circular resources, we set ourselves a target for 2025. 30% of our materials should come from recycled materials. And 100% our materials should be either recycled or sustainably sourced. Now coming closer to 2025, what I'm looking to is we are already 24%, and we strongly believe that reaching our targets for 2025 will be pretty straightforward. But our work is not ending there. With seeing the changes in textile industry, I believe we could say has been a lot produced, used, waste for many years. Now turning into, looking into definitely how could we bring resources for multiple uses, how could we benefit from products for multiple transactions, and how could brands make more profit and more business, and textile industry itself using less resources. There's a huge transformation needed, which we need to change all our mindsets, how we work with products, processes, and the way we reach our customers. We have been, in 2021, set as ourselves, I think, one of the most ambitious goals in the industry is saying that H&M Group, year on year, want to double our profit, while halving our emissions by 2030, 56%, and decouple our growth from resource use. It's a complex formulation when I say like that, but what we intend to do there is putting our climate and circularity targets next to our growth goals. And that is not an easy job. That's not something we can do alone. That's not something a single brand achieve alone, or a single country or single city. We have to work together to make sure that we have shared goals and we are working towards same targets. Today, like in circularity, we are actively working with our carbon emissions, trying to find ways that avoiding carbon in our production processes and selection of materials. Bangladesh, not only our biggest production market, but also H&M Group is one of the biggest customers for Bangladesh textile industry. Here, the impact of transformation of Bangladesh textile industry is making incredible impact in our way of working. So today, here, I am asking all of you to think what you could do yourself and how could we work together to change the industry, to change the fashion scala in Bangladesh for a better future. The fashion industry needs to accelerate its transformation towards circularity as the way forward to solve the biggest challenge the world is facing: biodiversity loss and climate goals. If we would like to leave a livable planet to our child's next generations, it is time to act now. Clock is ticking, and our actions matter on what we want to reach in a couple of next years. When we set ourselves for 2030 goals, we all thought that we have 6 years, 7 years, 8 years to go. But now looking at the challenge, the action of speed is not matching with our targets. So we all together accelerate the change, and we need to work together. Bangladesh, with being the world's largest pre-consumer cotton waste country due to its production, has a great opportunity to reach and transform textile phase. Here, what we are looking into heavily is how could we work with you? How could we work with our partners? How could we work with legislation's owners to make sure that we are opening a new chapter in Bangladesh textile, to transform to circular economy? That's a long journey. We are investing ourselves, we are investing ourselves supporting innovators, try to find out low-impact materials, use our size and scale to give them bigger opportunity, those innovators, to reach our supply chains. We are working with our suppliers to help them to transform their energy grids through direct investments. We are working with our customers to explain them second-hand clothing, repair, reuse will be the next things that we need to consider. We need to work together to transform ourselves. The country like Bangladesh has a unique opportunity to accelerate this transformation. We need strong legislations helping us, the waste becoming a resource. We are changing the whole landscape of resource management, and we are bringing the best product to our customers that we're all proud of. With saying that, I look forward to partner up with our dearest partners, our business partners in textile industry, government officials, and yourself, also esteemed guests of this event. I would like to say thank you very much for inviting us to this forum, and I look forward to continue this discussion.
Thank you very much, Ms. Leila Ertuğ. Now I'd like to request Dr. Bernd Spanier, Deputy Head of Delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh, to please come up for his speech.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasure to be here. Like all the others, I'd like to thank Mostafiz, the mastermind behind this event. We have a simple rule at the EU delegation. When Mostafiz calls, we go. And we do that because we know he's a visionary. He always thinks like 5 years ahead of others, and he opens a conversation that we need to have also with the EU delegation, and we know that we can address a relevant audience like yourself. I also have to say the standard of his events are top-notch. I've never had a drone flying in a hotel room so far, so I wonder what you will be doing next. but they're impeccably organized and all the visuals, and we get the required media presence as well. Now, why did he invite the EU as a partner in this event? I think the reason is because the EU is a pioneer in circular economy. In the EU, the concept has become mainstream, so to speak, as of 2015. That's 8 years ago already, and it's growing and growing. Now, we as the EU consider Bangladesh a natural candidate for discussion on circular economy for a number of reasons. First of all, your country is hungry for raw materials. It's a fact. Secondly, it's one of the largest producers in ready-made garments, which makes it also one of the largest producers in garment waste as a result. Thirdly, you have a growing middle class and high demand on materials in the future. Now, what all this means is that you have to do more with less. And that is something that's in Bangladesh's DNA. You have been doing more with less. You've had a growth rate of 9 to 8% in the past 10 years and growing population. You're used to doing more with less. Now, there's a factor that's coming in now that makes things more difficult, which is the war in Ukraine. And that has hit the whole world. It has made access to energy very difficult. So you have to do even more with less than before. Now, in the EU, we have faced the same problem, and our answer is to turn more and more into the circular economy. Because what it actually means is we need to decouple economic growth from resource dependency. Again, that's the factor. Decouple growth, because we want to grow in the future, but decouple it from the dependency on resources. And the way we do it is recycling and circular economy. As EU, we've been investing quite a lot of money into this. So we have almost 1% of our GDP invested in recycling and related industries, 0.8% in fact. And we want to help Bangladesh do the same by partnering up. But in this context, I'd like to emphasize two important things we would like to see as EU when it comes to circular economy. The first is free circulation of waste and recycling technologies. Without open trade on these issues, we are undermining the potentials. So any restriction or ban on waste would be counter-inducive to our goal. Secondly, circular economy has to be fueled by renewable energy, because it's no use if you have a clean circular economy facilities built up which is fueled by, let's say, dirty fuels. That contradicts the purpose. We want to help Bangladesh by providing knowledge transfer, technology transfer. For that, as many of you know, we are setting up a European Chamber of Commerce where we try to create a platform because we see we need more exchange on this. Now, in the EU delegation, also our cooperation colleagues have embarked on pilot projects together with the UN on driving this forward. And I'm very sure that this is not the last event we're talking about circular economy. Let me close by saying that it's also, and it's been said before, a reputational issue. Bangladesh is one of the largest producers in the garment sector. You're one of the largest producers in garment waste. Let you also be one of the largest actors in circular economy in the world. I stop here and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Burns Panier. Now I'd like to request Mr. Eddie Monginting, Country Director of Bangladesh Resident Mission, Asian Development Bank, to say a few words on this occasion.
Good morning, everybody. Let me first recognize Mr. Sabir Hussain Chowdhury, Member of Parliament, Special Envoy to Honorable Prime Minister on Environment and Climate Change. I think we are working together. ADB is a climate change bank, as you know. we're looking forward to work together on this very important endeavor. Let me also recognize the presence of my friend, Anne. I think His Excellency, Ambassador of Netherlands. I also see a number of other excellencies here, and also my esteemed speakers in this session. Good to be part of this very important event. Thank you very much, Mustafi, for inviting me. I think you've done a fabulous job in organizing this very important event. I think as a last speaker, it is always hard to pick up new things because everything has been said. But let me just put some color to what has been said by Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chaudhry, and all other colleagues ahead of me speaking in this event. I think as an economist, I'm an economist by training, I admire Bangladesh economy. I think it comes from very humble beginning, and the last 15 years recording one of the highest growth in developing countries, and now already a country of middle-income country. Yeah. But you know, during COVID, managed to grow positive, 3.4%, and now also I think doing relatively well during this difficult time. One of the important ingredient, one of the important element why this happened actually is garment. Yeah, RMG is the country's biggest export, and RMG is the fastest growing sector in the country. But as has been said, you know, RMG is also producing a lot of waste. In fact, if you look at it, RMGs is one of the most polluting industry also, second only to oil and gas. So on one hand, there is a story of growth, but on the other hand, there's also a story of waste. So in this context, as the country look forward into upper middle income country by 2031, it's a good time to relook at the growth model, the growth story, because the future will not be the same. I think many Asian Development Bank, as you know, we study the progress of many of our countries in the region. The grow first, clean up later is an expensive strategy. I think a number of countries ahead of Bangladesh earlier, I think they grow first, clean up later. And it's turned out to be a very expensive one. As you know, related to this pollution, related to the waste, plastic is also a big challenge in the region. 11 million tons of plastic are going to the sea every year, right? I think 4 million tons of those are from China, Yangtze River, and 3 million tons of that is from Meghna river system, which is Bangladesh part of it. I think the biggest story, I guess, is that we have to look at a different way of growing. I think my colleague said decoupling of growth from pollution. Bangladesh, as a leader in the garment industry, I think has a lot to thank to technology. I think in the past, I think some economy are forced to grow first and clean up later. But now, it's no longer the case. It's no longer needed to be that way because technology is there. Look at waste management now. I think North Dhaka City Mayor just mentioned that Dhaka is starting to build waste to energy plant. So with technology, waste can be an asset. I think depending on how we deal with it. I think in Cox's Bazar, in the camp, ADB is also building one omni processor, basically developing waste management plan, which is energy neutral. The waste itself produces energy to manage the waste. So many of these things are there. Technology is there for the country to tackle this big issue. So it doesn't have to be now I'm back. Yeah. So it no longer has to be grow first, clean up later for Bangladesh, although some other countries in the past already do that. Yeah? Because that is expensive. It is expensive because if we don't pay attention to some of this climate change impact of this dirty growth model, as well as other health hazard, the cost down the line will be expensive. We know plastics, microplastics are everywhere now, including maybe some of them end up in our body, in our agriculture system and everywhere. So that is expensive. So I think now, how do we go forward about it? I think as my colleague from H&M was saying, each institution, what do we do to this kind of important challenge? In ADB, I think ADB is moving to become a climate bank down the line. Of course, we care about energy transitions, how to make the production process in the factory cleaner and so on. And we will be working with government and all partners in achieving that. And of course, when it comes to circular economy, as mentioned before, there will be a transition. We'll be happy to be part of those transitions. Through whatever we have in ADB, 3 of them will be important in my view. One is knowledge. We can share knowledge. Bangladesh is a leader in this endeavor. We can share Bangladesh knowledge to other countries in the region. Vice versa, some of the countries may have already invented some good technology that can be used quickly in Bangladesh. We can also do that. So sharing this knowledge could accelerate some of these transitions down the line. Secondly, also policies. There has to be incentive and disincentive to do a bad practice, incentive to do a good practice. Some of the policies may no longer be up to date. Some of new policy may need to be in place. In that context, ADB will be happy to work with the government, work with the DG MEA in terms of inventing one of the good policy that will be working in making the sector more sustainable down the line. As you know, ADB is not only financing infrastructure. I think ADB has been here for 23 years, for 50 years, since 73. I think we have been working with the government in building infrastructure, but also in refining the policies that need to be done to ensure sustainable growth for the country down the line. So recently, for example, we approved policy-based loan to support the country's recovery from COVID. But down the line, we also are thinking about supporting government policies on climate change, accelerate some of those policies. We'll be happy also to, of course, include some of this circular economy into the equation in terms of supporting the government in this area. But last, I think, is partnership. I think no one of us can do it alone. I think private sector, the industry is the big part in the equations. So in that context, let's also not forget people. Yeah, I think in many development work that we are doing, community empowerment, people are a big part of the equations. In that context, ADB with industry players and with the government are happy also to be part of this big endeavor and to use all of our resources available to achieve this. But at the same time, let me highlight it again that ADB will be happy to be part of this important endeavor. We will use all of the resources that we have on our hands to achieve this. With that, let me thank you again. Thank you, Mustafi, for inviting me for this event. Looking forward to be partnering with you on this down the line. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edimon Ginting. And with that, we have come to the end of the plenary session. I would like to request the speakers to please stand up for a group photograph.